Right, on today's video, I'm going to be looking at the announcement that come out of New York Toy Fair over the weekend. And really, I'm going to be looking at Trick or Treat Studios announcements because I don't think Necker had too much new stuff to show. I think they showed a lot of their stuff earlier on in the year at San Diego. So I only caught like 3 or 4 things that I'd never actually seen out the Necker booth. But Trick or Treat Studios, mate, there's honestly about 20 things to go through. It's wild how much good stuff they've got coming up. But yeah, let's get into it. Right, we'll have a look through the Necker releases, and first up is Ultimate Count Dracula from Horror of Dracula, which that is an absolutely stunning figure. Necker have really stepped up their Ultimates, especially the actual people sculpts rather than the monsters, because Necker have always smashed monsters, but the actual people head sculpts always touch and go, especially the McCready one. I'm not massive on the McCready one, and that was fairly new actually. But they've absolutely nailed Christopher Lee, especially the head sculpt that's actually on the figure. It's insane how good that looks. But yeah, they've absolutely killed that. That's a great release. And the Ultimate line's great as well because it displays really easy because of the window box, and you get so many accessories and stuff with it. So yeah, the Ultimate is probably the best line from Necker, I think. Right, up next is a Necker Ultimate of Vincent Price, and it comes out in the second quarter of 2024, which... this is long overdue, man. There needs to be so much more Vincent Price merch. The man's an absolute icon, and you just can't find nothing for Vincent Price. It's a proper shame. And in fairness, considering it's a sculpt of an actual person, I think they've nailed the likeness as well, especially the third sculpt with the grey hair. I think that looks incredible. And the accessories are cool as well. A little skull, a little black cat, and a raven. So yeah, it's about time there's a Vincent Price merch, specifically figures, because everyone should want a Vincent Price figure. The man's an absolute hero. But yeah, so this is one I'll definitely be grabbing. I was proper excited to see this. Right, the next 2 I'm going to show are from the Turtles Universal Monsters mashup line, and first one is Raphael as the Wolfman, which looks absolutely incredible, but there's no box art for this one, so it's just a figure, and that is such a good looking figure. I love them mashups, to be honest. I need to pick up the other 2 because for some reason I've always passed on them. And they do look incredible because I love the Turtles, I love the Universal Monsters, so they should absolutely be in my collection. But yeah, Raph as the Wolfman looks absolutely sick. Next up is Leonardo as the Creature, which as far as mashups go, that is absolutely perfect. Like that works too well, to be honest. And the box art as well looks absolutely incredible. So yeah, that's... even if I just grab Leonardo as the Creature, which I probably won't, but even if I just grab that one, that's a must for my collection because that is perfect. And Turtles and the Creature. The Creature's my favourite monster, and the Turtles is my favourite cartoon growing up, so that is a no-brainer for me. That's such an easy pick-up. But as far as mashups go as well, it works perfectly. Like, they've absolutely nailed it. So yeah, I'll definitely be grabbing that one as well. Right, up next from Necker is a Krampus line, and it looks absolutely incredible. The artist made a post on Instagram saying it's been years in the making that he's been working on this line, and you can proper tell. The sculpt for Krampus itself is unbelievable. I cannot wait to grab that. They're also doing the Dare Clown, which looks proper sick as well. To be fair, the whole line looks quality. And there's a creature pack as well, which is the angel, the bear, the gingerbread man, and a few of the other little toys. And that, I think that's going to be like an accessory pack or whatnot, but that looks so good. Yeah, Necker have absolutely killed it with that line, and I'm definitely going to be grabbing the Krampus at least. I probably won't bother with the others in the line, to be honest, but the Krampus release is getting picked up for a Christmas decoration. That is absolutely perfect. Right, and last up by Necker, and by far my favourite thing they had to show on the weekend, they're doing a line of kids in Ben Cooper costumes as figures, and I think that's absolutely genius. Very similar to the Halloween 3 trick-or-treaters. It looks to be that size as well, so I think you could make a proper sick Myers diorama, like in the street with all the kids trick-or-treating or whatever. I think that would look quality. But the line is the devil, the skull, the mummy, Frankenstein and the Creature. And personally, if they're sold separately, I'll probably just grab the Creature and Frankenstein, because the other 3, they are cool, but I could easily just leave them. But the Frankenstein and the creature look absolutely unbelievable, so I'll definitely be grabbing that. But yeah, easily my favourite thing Necker had to show. Right, we'll move on to the Trick or Treat Studios booth, and we've got quite a bit to get through, to be honest. First up, we'll have a look at the life-size sandwich. I think that's a no-brainer, to be fair. They've already done so much with that licence, and even though it's an unpainted prototype, you can tell it's going to be spot on. Their sculpt of Sam, especially unmasked Sam, is perfect. I've got the 1/6 scale figure, and that head is so good. The paint job's incredible on it. The burlap sack Sam is a little bit tennis ball, like he's a bit too round, to be fair. But the unmasked sculpt is perfect for that 1/6 figure. So yeah, Tots always smash everything they release with Sam. So yeah, that's sick. And the Billy puppet next to it looks perfect as well. That's so good. But yeah, let's move on. Right, up next we've got a 5-inch Sam. This is an unpainted prototype. And accessory wise, it's got his little candy bag, it's got a pumpkin, it's got a full lollipop, a bitten lollipop, and it's got an exchangeable head, which is obviously unmasked Sam and masked Sam. Now, to be fair, that looks very similar to the Toonie Terrors, to be honest. To me, that's pretty much that figure. But yeah, it's one of them. It's expected, innit? They've already put so much Sam stuff out. You always knew you were getting a 5-inch Sam, to be fair. And it does look sick, to be fair. But yeah. Right, up next is a Terrifier 2 line of the 5-inch figures, which, again, they've just been smashing out that scale of figure. And I think it's where they excel, to be honest. This line is 2 Art the Clowns, Sienna, and a Pale Girl, which that Pale Girl looks sick. Again, they are unpainted prototypes, but yeah, that looks proper sick. I think the difference between the arts, let me just have a look. The difference between the arts is sunglasses. Okay, yeah, I did think it was going to be that, to be fair. But yeah, proper solid line that. And like Trick or Treat, they've done so much with the Terrifier license. There's so much art stuff that's come out of Trick or Treat Studios, and yeah, it's all sick, to be fair. Right, up next in the Terrifier line is a 12-inch Art the Clown. Now, this looks like a new scale they're bringing out. There's a Captain Spaulding I'll show in a bit as well, which looks insane. But yeah, this 12-inch, it looks sick, to be fair. That's 1/6 scale, but obviously it's all going to be plastic. It's going to be like a figure, really. The Captain Spaulding says trash talking Captain Spaulding, so I'm not sure if that's got any sounds. I could only imagine if that's got sounds, then the Art the Clown probably will have as well. But this is an unpainted prototype and it looks spot on. I think it's pretty much the little 5-inch line blew up. That's what it looks like to me. But it does look proper cool, to be fair. That's a nice little addition to their line of figures, definitely. It looks cool, man. Right, while we're on the 12-inch figure line, this is the Captain Spaulding. It's called Trash Talking Captain Spaulding figure, which, looking at it now, it's definitely the 5-inch figure scaled up. That looks identical to that, to be fair. The sculpt and everything, the proportions, everything just looks like that little 5-inch figure. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You get a gun and a little piece of chicken, which is sick. And it says Trash Talking, so hopefully that's like motion censored, like the old movie Maniacs 18-inch line, because that would be so sick to have a new line of figures like that. But it did break my heart a little bit when I seen that, because I thought it was a 1/6 scale, and I don't know why, because the clothes wouldn't be unpainted, the clothes would be real, so I don't know why I thought this was 1/6 scale. But just because of the scale of it, I just got proper excited. But yeah, while Tots have got that license, man, they need to do a 6 scale Captain Spaulding, because their Christmas ornaments, that scale head actually fits on a 1/6 body pretty perfectly, and the detail on that ornament is perfect. So they've got a sculpt ready to go. They just need to sort the clothing. Like, that definitely needs to happen. I'm not sure if that's been announced or not, but they need to bring out a 1/6 scale Captain Spaulding. Like, that needs to happen. But yeah, slightly heartbroken, because I did think that was happening. So yeah, little bit disappointed, but it's still a proper cool addition to their lineup, to be fair. Right, up next is the Michael Myers from the Scream Giant line, which is an 8-inch line that they've released. And this is the first figure I've seen from it. I've got the H45 Con exclusive up as well, because I think the green coveralls make that such a better figure. And it shouldn't make that much difference, but because I'm pretty sure the coveralls are the only difference on that figure. But I think the green coveralls make that such a better figure. It's a proper shame that that's a Con exclusive, and I've seen the prices of some of the Con exclusives that come out of that, and it's outrageous, mate. 600 quid for the Tom Atkins Necker figure. It's outrageous. So yeah, I'm not even going to check if I can pick that up, because I know I can't. Like, I'm just not going to pay that. But yeah, I think that looks like a cool line, to be fair. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they bring out in that scale, because that's a sick Michael Myers figure. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that line. Right, sticking with the Scream Giants 8-inch line, we've got Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now, it's so good to actually have Killer Clowns figures that are easily accessible, not overly stylized, because everything's always very cartoony with Killer Clowns. So the fact that these are just straight up figures is perfect. And it looks like this line is going to be Trick or Treat Studios' competition for Necker, like the Ultimate line. It looks very similar to that. And so far with the Myers releases and the Killer Clowns, like, it looks like they're smashing it, to be fair. It looks very, very good. And the Killer Clowns figures, the only ones I can think of are the Sota Toys ones. And obviously Sota Toys is long out of business and very, very expensive if you can pick them up. So yeah, it's boss to just have Killer Clowns figures on the way. Like, I'm so excited to pick them up, to be fair. Right, we'll move on to the 1/6 stuff that was shown over the weekend, and we'll start off with Christopher Lee as Dracula. Now, the positives for this release, I think, are the head sculpt looks really good. I think that's a really, really good likeness, and the hands are pretty, well, from what I can see, they look pretty good, to be fair. But I don't know, something looks off for me. It kind of reminds me of like the older Sideshow releases. It looks a bit like a doll. Like, I don't know if it's the tailoring or the body, but something about it just doesn't, it's not blowing me away at all, like. And like I say, with TOTS 1/6 stuff, because of the price point, I do expect to do stuff to get them up to par, because they are cheaper than everywhere else, so you kind of get what you pay for. But I don't know if it's the tailoring, and a body swap's obviously not going to do that, so I'm not sure what it is with this release, but something's off for me, man. I don't think that's worked out that amazing, really. But yeah, let's move on. Right, next up is Christopher Lee as Frankenstein from The Curse of Frankenstein. Now, I actually think the opposite as I do to the Dracula. Now, I think the tailoring looks spot on this, but I just don't think that head sculpt, and I think it's how shiny the hair looks, so maybe with a better picture, under better lighting, it'd look different, but I just don't think that head sculpt looks amazing, to be fair. I wouldn't be picking this up anyway, though, to be fair. That's not a Frankenstein I'd want in my collection anyway, so it's not for me either way. But I don't know, man. Yeah, I just think the hair might be on this picture alone, but the hair looks very plasticky and very, like, the paint job doesn't look very good at all. It just looks like they've just painted it all solid black, and it's just not overly convincing. But like I say, it's not a release I'd be picking up anyway, to be fair. So yeah, let's move on. Right, up next is Papa Emeritus II from Ghost. Now, I really don't like Ghost the band at all, but if I was a Ghost fan, I'd be all over this. This release looks sick, but everything about Ghost is really good. Like the t-shirt designs, the way they market themselves, everything about them is boss. But then you just get to the music, and for me, it's just crap. I just don't understand it at all. But like, if this was Slipknot, I would love 1/6 scale Slipknot figures. And when Tots got that license to do the masks, I was thinking they might bring out some figures as well. So I was gutted when they lost that license. But yeah, if you're a Ghost fan, this is an absolute no-brainer. You need to pick this up. It looks so good. Yeah, I'm proper jealous of any Ghost fans right now. But yeah, that's a no-brainer for any Ghost fan for me. Right, up next is Dr. Loomis, and honestly, like, the head sculpt, I think they've captured the likeness of Donald Pleasance so well. I think that's really good. Again, something kind of looks off, but I think it is the body, to be honest. I think the problem is these might not have been posed that well, to be fair, because all the pictures are the same. They look they look quite clunky. I don't think they've been posed very well at all. So hopefully it's a posing issue. But I think this looks a great release, to be honest, and the fact that you're getting a Loomis to go with your 78 Myers is great in it, let's be honest. And I've got the top 78 Myers, and I think it's way better than the Sideshow one. So yeah, I'll definitely be adding Loomis to the collection. That's a no-brainer for me, and I'm sure everybody else, to be fair. But yeah, the likeness is spot on. I think it looks to be a great release, to be fair. Right, up next is Michael Myers from Rob Zombie's Halloween. Now, I'm no expert on Zombies Halloween by any means. It's not my type of film at all. I think it's the epitome of the bad sides of Rob Zombie, to be honest. I think it's terribly written. It's like, it's cheap, it's easy. Like, you don't give Michael Myers a serial killer backstory and your stereotypical serial killer backstory at that. Like, I think everything he done was pretty much the opposite of Halloween, which I guess that's what a remake should be doing, but it's not for me at all. But anyway, yeah, this figure, it looks clunky. Like, I don't know whether the proportions are right, but his hands look absolutely massive. The sculpt looks insane though. The sculpt looks very accurate, but I just haven't seen Rob Zombie's Halloween enough to know if that's accurate or not. So let me know if that looked good. Like, I'm not sure, because I've tried looking at pictures before this and I can't tell if he's really that clunky and big or if that's like a stylized, exaggerated version. But yeah, just let me know if that's a decent release, because I actually can't tell with this one, to be honest. But the sculpt itself of the mask looks sick. Like, it looks really good, and the coveralls look really, really heavy duty as well. Like, they sit really well over the boots. So they're two very, very big positives, because everything else you can kind of swap out. So if you get a good sculpt and good coveralls out of it, you can kit bash a great Myers from that. So I'd say it's probably worth picking up if you wanted that anyway, just because they both look spot on. Right, we'll switch to the 5-inch figure line now, and up first is Day of the Dead. Now, as soon as I seen this release, mate, I was over the moon. I'm so excited for this. The full lineup is Sarah, Rhodes, Bub and Dr. Tongue. The only thing I would say is that I'd love a Miguel figure as well. I think Miguel would have been great with like his cut off arm and that would have been a great figure, to be fair. So hopefully we get a second season and get a one-arm Miguel. That'd be boss. But the Rhodes and Sarah are both unpainted, so I'm not sure what they look like really. But Bub's fully painted and Dr. Tongue's fully painted. And Bub, you get so many accessories for that size and scale figure. You get a cassette player, you get his bucket, you get a gun, and you get a razor, which is just so many accessories for a figure at that price point and that scale. Like, that's amazing. And Dr. Tongue's got rooted hair. Like, they haven't gone with plastic hair, so it looks actually incredible. The amount of detail they've got on his face and the fact they've actually gone with like proper hair just makes that figure look so amazing. This is an amazing line, to be honest. I was so excited, because Day of the Dead's my favourite zombie film. So yeah, two of these are definitely getting picked up. I might grab Rhodes, and then if I grab Rhodes, I'll probably end up grabbing Sarah. But I think Bub and Dr. Tongue are absolute must for me. They are incredible. Right, sticking with the 5-inch line, this is the perfect nostalgic release. Like, I'm so excited to pick this up. We've got Goosebumps figures, and I think because they're in the little 5-inch line as well, it's like such a 90s retro throwback as well. It's just perfect. It's a perfect release. The lineup of figures is Slappy, and they've gone with the book artwork Slappy, which is boss. You've got the Scarecrow, the Mummy, the Mud Monster. They've used the Mud Monster, and it translates so well as a figure as well. Like, the sculpt looks amazing on it. The Haunted Mask, of course, which I say of course, you still want it. It's still amazing. And you get a Curly Builder figure, which is amazing. A Builder figure is like you get a piece in each figure, and then you get an extra figure if you collect the line, basically. But I mean, I'm an inbox collector, so I'll never do that. The best thing about this release though is they've gone like similar to old Movie Maniacs releases. They've got a stand that you put behind the figure, and it's green slime, and it's got the book artwork. so you can display the stand with the figure, and it's just honestly absolute perfection. The green they've used is like just neon green. It's proper 90s Goosebumps. It's amazing. Like, this line literally is what made me decide I'm no longer just collecting 1/6 scale stuff. Like, I stopped collecting figures at this scale because it was just getting out of hand, but this line, I need everything in this line. And the next line I'm about to talk about as well is the same. Like, them two announcements this weekend changed the way I collect things again, which is an absolute nightmare. But yeah, this Goosebumps release, absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to grab that. Right, up next, sticking with the 5-inch line, you have got probably the greatest playset ever made. Like, this will never be topped. This is an absolutely genius idea as well, by the way. Tots, you better applaud Tots for this. This is absolutely incredible. They are doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre dinner scene playset, which, if that's not the greatest idea anybody's ever had, I don't know what is. It looks absolutely incredible. And my favourite thing is the expression on the hitchhiker's face is incredible. They've absolutely nailed Ed Neal there. It's so good. And then the Pretty Woman figure looks incredible as well. You can't see Sally though, and I'd love to see. Hopefully they've gone with like her maniacal look at the end of the film, because she's got so many good expressions. Like, I feel like they've purposely kept that hidden, because she's facing away from facing the back of the cabinet basically, so you can't see Sally's expression, and I feel like they've positioned that like kind of on purpose. But I can't wait to see what expression they've gone with Sally. But that's a no-brainer. I will absolutely be getting the dinner scene playset from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because that's the greatest idea anybody's ever had. That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, Tots have absolutely smashed this weekend. It's ridiculous how many announcements they've actually come out with, and they're all bangers. It's ridiculous. Right, and last up from the Trick or Treat Studios booth is a statue of Regan McNeil from The Exorcist, which, that looks absolutely incredible. Like that, I mean, I've said the dinner scene playset was probably my favourite piece, but really that Regan statue, purely because of the lack of Exorcist merch, is an absolute must. That is absolutely incredible. The face looks amazing as well. Like, the sculpt looks so good. I like the pose as well. Yeah, that is absolutely a no-brainer. Hopefully it's like 1/6 scale size. I can't really say what size it is, and it's got the pumpkin head tag in front of it, so I've got no information on this other than it's Regan from The Exorcist, and it's fucking sick. So yeah, so excited to pick that up. That was like, that's an incredible release, and I didn't even know Trick or Treat Studios had a license for The Exorcist, to be honest. But it's about time we got some good Exorcist merch, because there's like an old cult classic spider walk figure, a few bobbleheads, and that's about it really. I can't really think of anything else other than going into the custom world. Like, you just don't get Exorcist merch, and it's a proper shame, because Regan, as far as like creature design or like monster design or whatever you want to call it, like, she haunts my dreams, mate. She terrifies the life out of me. So I'd love to own some Exorcist merch, so that's a no-brainer for me whatsoever. That's an easy pick up, and as soon as that comes up for pre-order, that's instantly getting pre-ordered. I cannot wait to see that in hand, to be fair. But yeah, can't go wrong with any Exorcist stuff. Right, and this wasn't announced at Toy Fair. This is just something I seen on 1/6 kit when I was looking this morning at the pre-orders that went up over the weekend. And there's a company called Y Studio. Now, I can't find anything they've put out. I'm not sure if this is their first release or whatnot, but they are putting out a third-party Leatherface figure, and they've gone with a very gory approach to Leatherface. So he's got a decapitated head which he can hold. His apron is covered in blood. The chainsaw's covered in blood. His arms are covered in blood as well. So it looks like a very gory version of Leatherface. Let me see what accessories you get with this. You get a bucket, a knife, a mallet, a cleaver, a chainsaw, and a nice, like a metal bloody base, and a decapitated head. So yeah, it's a very, I think it's their interpretation of Leatherface, because obviously he doesn't use a knife in the film. Like, walking around with decapitated heads isn't really Leatherface, so I think it's just their interpretation of a gory, heavy looking Leatherface, really. I think it was $180 all in, which for a 1/6 scale figure isn't too bad, but I've never seen anything they've put out, so I haven't got a clue what the quality control is going to be like. But I might take a punt on it, to be honest. I'm weighing it up now, like. But it looks pretty cool. The head sculpt looks pretty cool, to be fair. And I've got the 3-0 Leatherface, and the only thing I don't like is the hair on the 3-0, because the 3-0 Leatherface is incredible, but the hair isn't curly, the hair is straight, and it just sits really weird. It's like Leatherface with spiky hair. It's mad. And the hair looks a lot more accurate on this one, and it looks like it's rooted hair as well. So yeah, I might pick this up, to be honest. It looks like an interesting release. Right, I'll call it there anyway. But if you did enjoy the video, give it a like, share it around a bit. That would be massively appreciated. And comment what your favourite release from Toy Fair was, because let's be honest, there's some absolute bangers. Nice one for checking the video out. See you next time.